This week's take, courtesy of my sponsor, Squid Game. I believe Netflix are putting out a second season. You can thank me for the extreme viewership that they will get here because I'm already pitching them here in 2022. Is the Golden State Warriors need to make a change to their starting lineup. And it's pretty simple to me that Klay Thompson needs a spell on the bench. All right. I think I looked at this article. I read this article actually, and apparently, I don't even know the whoever who wrote it. Actually, I didn't really look at the reference, okay, or the source content, but apparently, this article says Steve Kerr would not bring Klay Thompson off the bench and start Jordan Poole because they bring different things to the table. Okay, so I'm going to make an argument here. Bring Klay Thompson off the bench and start Moses Moody. Okay, we don't necessarily have to start Jordan Poole. What I'm saying here is that the Warriors need to shake up their rotation like they've talked about, but I haven't seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm tripping here. They talked about shaking up the rotation. They said they'll give Kuminga more minutes. Then Kuminga got 4 minutes last game. So I guess that's something I think they really do need to shake up. Sure, Steph Curry's gone supernova right now, all right, and that's great. And they've obviously reeled off, I think, 2 in a row right now at this time of recording, okay? But the point here I think I'm trying to make is that Klay Thompson needs a spell off the bench, all right? Maybe he comes in, plays a little bit of minutes against second units, gets his confidence up, gets his shot back, gets his shooting percentage above that 40% mark because he's shooting, all right? And this is not Klay Thompson like at 34% at the moment, okay? And at that point, when he gets that sort of confidence and his shot back, maybe that's time to put him back in the starting lineup.
You very much saved this because it was going to be a complete, like, it doesn't work. But yeah, you're right. Look, Klay Thompson off the bench. I, I think that there's a little bit of historical gravity that still works in Klay Thompson's favor. So, present day Klay, we recognize it's not the same person prior to the injury, but there's that history, there's that legacy behind him that you can't leave him open in the corner. You can't leave him open on the wing, right? So that gravity assists Steph. Now, maybe after another season of struggles or in 2 seasons of struggles, people will be like, he's not the same dude. We're fine. You can sag off it. So Klay Thompson coming off removes some gravity for Steph Curry. Now, putting in a rookie, or at least a younger player, the philosophy definitely changes, right? The philosophy goes, you can blitz Steph, you can, double, you can sag off Moody and just force him to be, which is what's happening in the bench unit a lot of the time. They're just letting the young guys kind of get cooked. Jordan Poole, in terms of taking Clay's spot, I actually don't know why people talk about this. I think Jordan Poole and Steph Curry are more
Very,
alike
very
than
similar. Yes,
Jordan
correct.
Poole. Yeah,
Correct.
they're, ball dominant, create things, but can
Correct.
also pull up, create the shots. So I don't know why people think that putting him in the starting lineup with Steph is a good idea because you've got 2 players that do too much of the same. It's a great bench unit. I think the Warriors' main issue currently is they need to pick a lane and they need to go of it. So, there's interesting minutes things such as the Ty Jerome. Like, why is Ty Jerome getting so many minutes from the bench when you're wanting to do a youth movement and most of the other guys are playing for that? The Kuminga minutes are very confusing. So, the games where the starters are out, he gets, big minutes and he gets the ability to learn. And we know young players, they need court time to iron out these mistakes. And the weird thing is the Warriors are giving them court time, but then they're probably not giving them slightly enough, or they're not steering into it properly. I think what's happening this season is really confusing because you've got clearly the potential to still be a finals contender, but you've also got a youth movement that you could burn games on to really embed and get them going. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep the championship contender playing for 30 minutes a night, but then also stagger, the youth movement in those 30 minutes while giving them the extra 12. And it's the bench that gets killed. So I'm pretty sure I was hearing that Wiseman and Poole have the lowest PER in the league, or at least the bottom 4. So they're getting torched every time that they're on the court. And in terms of pointing at one specific thing, obviously Golden State have a system. You've got players trying to learn that system that maybe aren't as well embedded. You've got the Draymond thing that definitely has to have some impact along the way. And then what's going on with Steve Kerr? right? So Steve Kerr's making coaching decisions either because management is telling him to or because he believes it's right. But there is a weird hierarchy that's pegged in with that team, right? So,
I,
Dante
I,
DiVincenzo
I,
comes in.
I, look, you're right, and I think this whole weird hierarchy, this sort of underperforming Warriors team at this point, would right itself if we got 80% of old Klay back. Okay. Clearly Klay was that second option on all those, championship teams prior to KD. And then obviously KD came along and then he was the third option, I guess, but right now he's not a legitimate threat as that second or third option. And they need him now. They don't have KD. KD's not coming back. Okay. So either, like I said, Moses Moody or even DiVincenzo coming back now. He used to start at the Bucks. Okay, well, what's there to switch that for a 5 to 10 game period? All right, insert him to the starting lineup. All right, let him come and get his legs back. Bring Klay off the bench. If he can sort of lift his percentages, then just slide it back again. See what happens. Okay, Steve Kerr's talked about these changes. I'm just not seeing them, and they need a shake up. They need a shake up, and that's the most logical one. All right, there's nothing else there that as far as I'm concerned, looking at their rosters, their rotation. All right, there's no other players that are coming back from injury or anything like that. Okay, Klay just needs to come back. We need to see more old Klay than currently we're seeing at the moment. And I think it's still there, but he's got to find his feet. He's got to find his confidence.
So maybe you'll take his Klay is to blame for the Warriors' struggles. Maybe that's your take.